الرحمن
واجعلني وزيرا هارون أخي أشرد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا قال قد أوتيت سؤلك يا موسى وأنت لك ما لم تكن تعلم وكان فضل الله عليك عظيما وعلمناه من لدنا علما سنقرئك فلا تنسى وقل رب زدني علما ولا حول ولا قوة إلا علي العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما والذين يقولون ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما إنها ساءت مستقرا ومقاما والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما صدق الله مولانا العظيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد وارحم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وباركت ورحمت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Today is Friday, the 21st of Ramadan, 1446 after the hijrah of Sayyidina Rasulullah from Mecca to Medina. Today is day 21. We have covered the first 10 days. We have covered the second 10 days. We are just into the last 10 days. We have covered the 10 days of mercy. We have covered the 10 days of forgiveness. We are now on the third day, the third 10th day of Itikum Minan Nar, emancipation from Jahannama to Al-Jannah. Oh Allah, make us among those that will be emancipated from Jahannama to Al-Jannah. These last 10 days, as you have heard from the National Chief Imam, are very critical. They are very critical. It is reported that Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to tighten his belt. He used to wake every soul in his house, whether adult, whether young man, whether wife, whether children, whether servants. Nobody sleeps in the last 10 days in the house of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because in these 10 days, there are odd days. 21, 23, 25, 27, and 29. In these odd days, 5 of them, you will discover that there is one special night in them. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Wa ma adraka ma laylatul qadr. Laylatul qadr khayrun min alf shahr. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
I will not bog you down because on the 19th night, our dear father, our dear Sheikh, Ambassador Ridwan Mustafa has digested this issue of this chapter in the Holy Quran. Suffice it to say, it is not the nights of sleeping. It is not the nights of laziness. It is not the night of dozing off and waking up. It is what even the other side of the divide says, there are nights of vigil. There are nights you must remain awake. In fact, our dear father even further explained, because Allah said, Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alf shahr. This night of majesty is by far better than 1,000 months. 1,000 months. Just pick your adding machine. Divide 1,000 by 12. Imam mistakenly mentioned 34 years. It is 83.33 years. You worship just 2 rak'ats. Your reward is like worshiping for 83 years. How many of us will reach 83 years? 83 years on the surface of earth. How many of us have the guarantee we will spend 83 years on earth? Yet if you do one night worship, indeed 5 minutes worship in that night, you have earned the reward, you have earned the blessings, you have earned the magnanimity of Allah as if it is somebody who worshipped for 83 years other than that night. This night of majesty is by far, not even equal to, by far more than worshipping in 83 years, 1,000 months. This is one of the verses where angels are separated from their leader. Angels are mentioned and then separately their leader is mentioned. Tanazzalul malaikatu. It is in that night that angels, not in hundreds, not in thousands, but in millions, normally descend down the earth.
والروح فيها
Allah mentioned angels and then he mentioned Ruhu. Ruhu is no one else but angel Jibril alayhi salatu wassalam.
والروح
On that
فيها
night, the angels will come led by their leader, Ar-Ruhul Amin. In other places, he is called Jibril. In other places, he is called the messenger of the messenger.
الله والروح فيها
بإذن
بإذن
ربكم.
ربهم من كل أمر
It is in that night, بإذن ربكم, with the command, with the order, with the directive of your Lord. من كل أمر. Every other thing is decided in that night. Whether I will die in that year is decided in that night. Whether I will become a billionaire, it will be decided in that night. Whether you will build those mansions, it will be decided in that night. Whether you will answer so cars, it will be decided in that night. Min kulli amrin, every affair is decided on that night.
سلام هي حتى مطلع
For those who want to witness the sign, for those who want to experience the sign of that night, for those who want to know how that night is, Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. It is peace and tranquility in that night until dawn the next morning. You may not see it physically, wallahi, you will feel it that this is the night of majesty. The winds are calm. It may rain, it may not rain. No overheat, no over cold. And your peace, your life is at peace. You are happy with yourself. You are happy with your Lord. You are even happy with the chicken in your house. You rear. Everywhere is calm. Those that Allah show the reality of life, they may see some signs. The dogs never bark on that night. The dogs never bark on that night.
إنا أنزلناه في ليلة مباركة إنا كنا منذرين
In another verse, in another chapter, Allah says, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatin mubarakah. We have indeed revealed the entire Quran in that blessed night.
في ليلة مباركة إنا كنا منذرين
We revealed the entire Quran in that blessed night.
فيها يفرق كل أمر حكيم
In that revelation, yufraqu kullu amrin hakim. We divide, we classify, we share every affair by our wisdom, said Allah.
أمر من عندنا إنا كنا مرسلين
Affairs from us, says Allah, and we indeed send these messengers with these blessings, with this magnanimity. What do we do in this night? The Imam has summarized it for us in this sermon today. Just increase your recitation of the Quran. Just increase your adhkars, istighfar, salat on the Prophet, haylala, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, reflection and perception. Reflect over the creations of Allah. Reflect over the wonders of Allah. Feel free in these nights and worship the more. If you can't make it to the mosque, where the al-rammas, where the huffaz will recite longer verses in the Quran, so that you stay more in the night. Unlike me, very lazy, that will only stay at home and recite Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falak and Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. Just try, make extra effort and get that blessings in that night, and you have earned 83 years of worship. May Allah make us maximize bountifully in these blessed nights from last night until the 29th night. I, being foolish, don't even rely on odd nights. I make use of the whole 10 nights. You never can tell. You never can guess. You never can determine what Allah decides. So just make use of the entire 10 nights, or even if it is 9 nights, maximize your effort. Don't be lazy on 20 and be active on 21. Don't be lazy on 22 and be active on 23. Just make use of the entire night. You never can tell. Allah is Al-Hakim, Allah is Al-Razak, Allah is Al-Ghani, Allah is Al-Fattah, Allah is everything we can think of. So let us maximize exactly. وَهُوَ قَادِرٌ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. He has power over everything. It is we that are estimating the odd days. Allah may be magnanimous. So just make use of these 10 nights, and so shall it be, inshallah. May Allah make us maximize. I remember our father that day say, let us recite Fatiha. May Allah make us successful this year in that night. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. May Allah make us and even everyone, a true Muslim, succeed over that night. As usual, I don't normally follow what my teacher, my father used to do, Surah Al-Baqarah, because the lessons in the whole of Surah Al-Baqarah we have covered so far has to do with the atrocities, the stubbornness, the die-hardedness of Bani Israel. What they do, what they have done, and what they are still doing today. The atrocities. It was from verse 40. I think we are now in verse 60 what or 70 what. It is all the atrocities of Bani Israel on the earth. And what is happening today in Gaza, what is happening today in Palestine is just a replica of what they have been doing ab initio. Allah has documented it in the Quran. It's there in Surah Al-Baqarah from verse 40 up to verse 80 something. One particular nation, 48 verses talking about their atrocities. There is a certain time Allah was describing them. He said, Wallahi, their hearts are harder than stones. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْحِجَارَةِ لَمَّا يَتَفَجَّرُ مِنْهُ الْأَنْهَارُ. Some of these rocks or mountains, they crack and water used to gush out of it. But their hearts are so hardened, there is no space for Iman. There is no space for Iman. وَإِنَّ مِنْهُمْ وَمِنْهَا لَمَّا يَشَّقَّقُ فَيَخْرُجُ الْمَاءُ. Some of these rocks and mountains, they still disintegrate and you see water gushing out of it. وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَّا يَهْبِدُ مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ. Among the mountains, there are some that just like that, they will scatter and fall down because of the fear of Allah. Allah is comparing them with Bani Israel. Their own hearts are hardened. So it's not for me to delve into my father's deep analysis of these atrocities by Bani Israel. We are still learning from him, inshallah. Even if he comes now, wallahi, I will stand up and give him chance to continue. So today I have decided, has he come? I thought he has come. So today, instead of going, I just want to learn more and more from him. Instead of going, we are going to Surah Al-Furqan, where Allah described the characteristics of true believers. I don't know, it's from verse what? Wa Ibadur Rahman. From verse 63, Surah Al-Furqan. I think in the next 11 verses, if we can cover today, that's what we will do to know the characteristics of the true servants of Allah. May Allah make us among them. Bismillah. Allah wants to give us in the next 11 verses the characteristics of a true believer. Allah described a true believer as Ibadur Rahman. Ibadur Rahman, alladhina yamshuna ala al-ardi hawna, wa idha khatabahum the first characteristics of Ibadur Rahman, true servants of the merciful Allah, One of their first characteristics is in their relationship with people. يَمْشُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Allah started by describing how they move when they are walking. الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. They are those who, when they are walking, when they are moving, they move calm. They move calmly. You don't see them rushing. You don't see them running. You don't see Ibadur Rahman in a hurry. They are calm. Alladhina yamshuna ala al-ardi hauna. They move calmly, not with arrogance, not with pomposity. They move with calmness. When you see them, you know this is a true servant of Allah. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمْ in their way, in their simplicity, in their mode of walking, if by chance they meet an ignorant person, somebody who doesn't know his direction, somebody who doesn't belong to their class of true servants of Allah, when he confronts them, when he challenges them, when he wants to challenge them, Alu Salam. When an ignorant person confronts them, the only word that will come from them is salam. Peace. Peace. They don't argue. They don't discuss. They don't have time for La Liga or Manchester United or anything. They don't have vain issues. They don't have time for any vain issue. Or what happened here, or what happened in River State, or what happened in Kano, NNPP versus. They don't have time for that. They don't have time for vain talks. They don't have time for non-issues. Their own is Allah. In their front is Allah. At their back is Allah. By their right is Allah. By their left is Allah. Up is Allah. Down is Allah. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. So whenever an ignorant person confronts them, they say peace. Peace. No time for argument. Next. وَالَّذِينَ يُبِيتُونَ لِرَبِّهِمْ. Yubit means overnight. Sujjada. How do you sleep? How do you spend your night? Yes, you may tell me that Allah said, وَجَعَلَ اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا. We have made the night for you to rest and relax. Yes, that is an average Muslim. But for Abdul Rahman, Ibadur Rahman, الَّذِينَ يُبِيتُونَ سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا. They are those who spend most part of the night in sujood. وَقِيَامًا, standing. The true servants of Allah, they don't have time for long sleep. No wonder Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, the best form of salat in the night is the salat of Prophet Dawud alayhi salam. Just like the best form of voluntary fasting is the fasting of Dawud alayhi salam. What Prophet Dawud used to do is to sleep early in the part of the night. Then when it is half the night, he will wake up, spend some hours, go back one sixth of the night again, sleep for another 1 hour or two, and then wake up for the remaining 1/3, and then finish the night till Subuhi prayer. My brothers and sisters, if you can't do it, if you can wake up 12 midnight, wake up and don't sleep again. Maqam al-Mahmud. You can see, for the Prophet is an order, for us is a recommendation. But if you like, you better follow that recommendation. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was ordered to wake up and pray in the night, nafila. And Allah at the end of that verse say, Asa Allah say, perchance your Lord will station you, will appoint you Maqam al-Mahmud. That position, when Allah used the word Asa, it is confirmed. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will get Maqam al-Mahmud. But still, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ordered was at the end of every adhan, we should pray for him to get that position. Ati Muhammadun il-wasilatu wal-fadila wad-darajatu ar-rafi'a wa ba'athu Maqam al-Mahmudan alladhi wa'adta warzuqna shafa'atahu yawma. If you pray for me to get that Maqam al-Mahmud, I assure you of my deliverance, of my shifa on the day of judgment for you. All these are the result of night prayer. Don't kill yourself by doing 60. Don't hustle yourself by doing 40 raka'ats. Don't hustle yourself by doing even 20 raka'ats. Wallah, you can do 4 quality ones and earn that position with Allah. Don't overstretch your ma ja'alna fi dini min haraj. No burden. Don't overburden yourself in the religion. If it is 4 rakats you can do in that night, do 4 rakats and rest. Sometimes if you are the type like Allah Rammas like this who can do 1 hizb per rakah, do it. But if you are the lazy type like me, bi rabbil falaki, bi rabbin nasi, qul huwallahu, alam tara kaifa, simple and do your 4 rakats. By the time you do, there is one thing about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "Ahabbul a'malu ila Allahi adwamuha wa in qalla." Ahabbul a'malu ila Allahi adwamuha wa in qalla. The most beloved type of worship in the sight of Allah is the one that you are consistently doing, even however small. أوزد عليه After the first revelation, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went and covered himself and was ruminating over his encounter with Malaika Jibril. Allah said, no, covering yourself in bedsheet is not your duty. The first thing, let us groom and drill you first before the main message. Ya ayyuhal muzammil. All you who cover yourself in blanket. Wake up, stand up, rise. Make the night lively throughout. Illa kalila. We can only spare you a few hours. Stand up and pray in the night. By the time he was drilled, then Allah said, oh yeah, you can reduce now. Nisfahu, you can take half of the night. Or you must wake up. Awzid alayhi, or even increase a little above half of the night. Warattil al-Qur'ana tartil. And then recite the Quran during this prayer and during your tilawa in consequential order. Warattil al-Qur'ana tartila. With melodious voice. Sometimes Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to like the voice of others. He will call Ibn Abbas, he will call Huzaifa ibn al-Yaman, he will call other Sahaba and tell me, recite some portion of the Quran for me. And that is why it is a very important sunnah to put CD, to put cassette, to put your MP3 and hear melodious voice of the Quran. It is sunnah. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to call Sahabas who have memorized portions of the Quran to recite. And when he is listening, you will see tears falling on his ears.
والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما